Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm sharing with you my first, what I like to call Finance Fridays. They probably will not always come up on Fridays, but I always like to do our finances on Fridays because that's when we get our paychecks normally. So I'm going to start this off just chit-chatting with you a little bit, letting you know where I am, where we are. As everybody knows, there's COVID going on right now. My husband and I both work in the restaurant industry, and so unfortunately, I am completely laid off for now, and he has had his hours severely cut back. But fortunately, he is one of the 2 kitchen people that they were able to keep on, and so we've been able to have some sort of income coming in while we were waiting for unemployment. All of that being said, I finally received my first unemployment paychecks. And I have had so much interest in, you know, how does this work? How does budgeting work? How do you budget? How do you save money? All that sort of stuff. And so I want to share that with y'all here. YouTube does allow me to share a little bit more with you than Instagram does. I have a little bit longer time, all that good stuff. So we're going to go over it here instead of on Instagram. If you aren't even from my Instagram, I'm sorry about that whole intro little awkward piece. Just ignore it. I know where we are now. Another thing. I have tried so many different times, so many different people's ways. I've been around the block so many times trying to figure out what finances work for me. So I do want to preface this by saying that this might not be what works for you, but maybe something that I'm doing is going to click with you and it'll help you. I'm currently using the Budget Mom's budgeting method. She does the budget by paycheck method. And I have been following her since January, and because of her, I was able to pay rent this month, even though I was laid off and we didn't have that much income. But by the time that I was laid off, we had all of our bills paid for March. We had most of our rent saved up for April, and I truly can say that that would not have happened without her and her Instagram account and her YouTube. And that's just how I've learned. I've always been a self-learner. I teach myself by watching other people do things. And so I just watched her on Instagram and YouTube. She does have a course that you can pay to do. I've never done it, so I cannot say whether it works or not because I've never done it. But I can say that her methods do work. And so if a classroom is more of your speed, please check out her website, thebudgetmom.com, I believe. The last thing before we move on to the actual budgeting is another person that I learned from a long time ago was a podcast called Martinis in Your Money or something like that. But anyways, long story short, I learned from that woman, I wish I remember her name too. I'm gonna have to do better about this, y'all. Anyways, I learned to always have happy hour with your budgeting hour. And so today I have a 3 Smart Point margarita. It is a 1 shot of tequila and light margarita mix. Jose Cuervo, you can have like either half the bottle or the whole bottle for 0 Smart Points, but that's how I budget, is the Budget Mom and happy hour. The Budget Mom's Budget by Paycheck Workbook. This is the monthly overview, and I do not have enough highlighters right now, but typically what you do is you'll highlight each paycheck a different color, and you would highlight what bills get paid with that paycheck. Okay, and so I really don't even have all that many bills, to be honest. I do need to add my car insurance is not on here. So that's actually going to be next paycheck though. I'm not too worried about that for today's video, but I do need to add my car insurance onto here. So the idea is that whenever you're looking at it, you see the colors and what paycheck pays for what bills. So our income, we have starting balances. We actually have a lot of different sources of income. So we have one account had $33.41, one account had $51.29. I was given, however you want to say it, $787 for last week's unemployment. $247 for the week before's unemployment. I unexpectedly got a paycheck today from my employer. Basically what happened there is they said that they were going to give us a check that was the average of our work for 14 days, and it ended up being 7 days, and they did that twice. So I received the second payment today, and that is this amount right here. And Nate also got a paycheck, and so he was paid $308.70. So out of all of this, the only money that we budgeted for is we hoped Nate would make $300. This was completely unexpected. We didn't know when I was going to get unemployment. And I mean, yeah, I guess that was expected because it was already there. But really the only budgeted income that we had for this week was $300. What we actually received in income was $1,695.80. Wow. To go from having no money to having money. I used to be really irresponsible with money. I still kind of am. I'm trying to grow out of that. And so to see this, I really, really want to go out and buy a new Apple Watch, and Nate a smartwatch, and things for the boys, and things for the house. Like, I have so many projects that I want to work on. But now is the time to be an adult, and I need to focus on what actually needs to happen and not what I want to happen. And that's what this whole process is about. That being said, this week we have our electric bill. I just got the bill for this current month, but we still haven't paid last month's bill either. So I'm going to write that down as a late bill, and we're just going to pay them both at once because we do have the money for that. I usually budget $150 a month for electric. Because this is 2 months, I'm going to say we budgeted $300. What we're actually billed for is $276.20. Another bill that is due in this period, and remember, we can go back to this calendar to see what needs to be paid with this. Another bill due is our AT&T cell phone bill. Now, I have already contacted them and let them know that we are a part of the people that are affected by coronavirus. We might not be able to pay when we're supposed to pay. They have waived our late fees for the next 3 months. So I am not 100% concerned with paying this. But that being said, I have the money to pay this now, and I want to pay it now. I do not want this bill to grow from $273 to $700, $800 by the time the end of that 3 months is over, and then I'm gonna have to pay $800. No, thank you. I'm gonna pay now as I can pay it. But also, that being said, right before we got hit with the news about all of this happening, Nate and I actually switched our phone plans. And so our phone plan is going to be higher this month because of that. It's one of those partial charges sort of thing, and a change plan, blase blase. So that's a little bit higher than what it's going to be every month from now on. That's fine. We definitely have the money to cover it, and we are going to cover our needs first. The next thing that I want to do is we have rent due in 2 paychecks after this. So I estimated it about the same. Dividing that between the 3 paychecks that are going to have to pay for rent, we're going to have to put aside $275 from today and the next 2 paychecks, and then rent will be paid on time. So that is our bill section. Our guesstimated bills due $848, which means that we would be in the hole $448. From here on out, you're not really going to see me use the budgeting column because, once again, we didn't know when unemployment was going to start coming in for me. You can't budget when you don't know where the money is. So now we know where the money is, and now we're budgeting, but you're not going to really see a budget. You're just going to see actual for this week, and then starting next week, we'll have a budget line. The Actual bill total was $880.23, which leaves us with $815.57. And you get that from subtracting your bill total from your income total. That gives us that. The next section that we go over is the envelopes. I usually have a good variety of envelopes and sinking funds, but we're on emergency terms right now. So we're gonna go over what that is, what that means for us. Budget, and we'll carry down that $815.57 that we have left over after we pay our mandatory bills. Envelopes left over, we're gonna have to buy groceries. I allocate $100 a week for that when I can. We also put aside $100 for us every month. I get a personal allowance of $40, as does Nate. So I'm gonna put those down. Nate's money automatically, like whenever his paycheck comes into our Capital One account, $40 of it automatically goes into his own account card elsewhere for him to handle on his own. I do not see that $40. I have nothing to do with it. It's his. For me, I need to pull $40 out or put $40 aside in Capital One for me. I need to figure that out, but my $40 for the week. The $100 for us, that's gonna be $100. The groceries, I'm gonna go ahead and put down $100. The week hasn't happened yet, but I'm typically really good about sticking to my groceries. So for the purpose of this video and just showing you what I need to do to budget, we're gonna say that. So once again, we're clearing that out. The total for all of these comes to $280. And then you subtract $280 from that $815.57, and we have $535.57. Drink break. Cheers. On to the next one. Our next area is sinking funds. Like I said, I'd usually have a lot of sinking funds that I've been contributing to. I wouldn't even contribute to the two that you're about to see, except for the fact that we had to borrow money from these two envelopes to pay for groceries in the recent weeks. And so I want to replenish that just to get my envelopes back to ground zero. Otherwise, I think I'm going to feel resentful about this whole ordeal. And I don't have the energy or time for that. So we're going to replenish what needed to be spent to make us survive. And we're going to move on and breathe. The two funds that I had to borrow from were gifts and boys. The boys, my dogs. I have two dogs. Oh, we also need to carry our other info over. And so, we're forgetting about that. Actual, this $535 is what comes back up here. Gifts, we owe the gift fund $80 and we owe our boys $20. So that's $100, which leaves us with $435.57. Once again, we carry that down, the $435. And extra debt. So when I started getting my budget life together, I stopped paying my credit card. I actually stopped paying. I was not able to pay my credit card for a good bit there. So it actually went to collections, and I was recently, well, I received an email recently about settling that account. And considering this amount right here, I have decided to settle the account because it's for 50% of the amount. Some people might argue with me on this. I'm doing what I feel is best, and that's that. So I'm going to pay my Capital One account off. It's the only credit card that I have that was active, and it's no longer active, so there's that. I have some other debts that we're going to address here soon-ish once things settle down, but I wanted to go ahead and get this settled before they send it off to another collection agency. I don't want that either. So extra savings. This is where, for me, when I was originally looking over this, trying to make sure I had everything settled before I came to talk to y'all, For me, this is where I did not really know what to do. I didn't know how to handle this because I don't know. I don't know how to handle extra money. All of that being said, my ultimate goal is to get an emergency fund because we are in an emergency and I do not have an emergency fund. So that was stressful. That being said, I also feel the need to have cushions in both accounts so that a way if something drafts from there, then there's money in there to handle it and we don't have to pay overdraft fees. You know how those things go. So this is what I've decided to do with our extra savings. If you agree, wonderful. If you don't, I'm sorry. Maybe you agree with everything else I've said. But anyways, I am going to put into our emergency fund, I decided $300, just because it's a pretty nice round number. In our New Horizons account, we had $37.02 left over after, actually I'll show you that in just a second, how I came up with that. And then Capital One is going to have $24.85. So savings total, $361.87, which means we have $0 left over and we have a $0-based budget. Boom, boom, boom. Yes. All right. So how I decided what was going in what. Let's say our green is New Horizons and pink is our Capital One. All of our major bills come out of our Capital One account. You know what? I already forgot what I said was what. I think green was Capital One. So green, Capital One. Our electric bill is going to come out of Capital One. Our cell phone bill is going to come out of Capital One. And that rent, I'm going to move that over to our bill savings account in Capital One. Our groceries, that's going to come out of Capital One. And my money comes out of Capital One. And then this money has already been taken out of Capital One. This is a Capital One, and then that's what's left. So I have like my starting balance for Capital One, and then I added what needed to be added, subtracted what needed to be subtracted, and that is how I ended up with $24.85 as, I messed up, the $24.85 as the cushion for Capital One. For New Horizons, I did the same exact thing. I took this $33.41 You'll get the picture, right? I messed up a little bit somewhere, but you get the picture. I forgot to highlight all of my income up here. That's where I messed up. So if you're like me and color coding things help, maybe that helps you. Hope so. Thank you for watching my video today. Please feel free to leave me any questions down below. I'll answer them the best that I can. I'm a novice. I have no idea what I'm doing. Like I said earlier, I really just started budgeting at the beginning of this year, but it did save me from going in financial ruin through all of this. So if I can help y'all, I want to help y'all. I want to share the knowledge that I do have, the know-how, but also please understand that I don't know all. I don't know a lot of things about this. So we'll just learn together, and that's the best that we can do. So I hope y'all are having a great weekend or whenever you're watching this, and I will check in with you later. Bye.